Welcome to the Invisible Current. Together, we'll learn to understand the currents shaping our world. Trust begins long before a contract is signed. It begins with a handshake. For thousands of years, commerce depended less on paper than on character. A man's reputation was often worth more than his possessions because trust reduced uncertainty, but incentives shaped behavior. When rewards become detached from honesty, even handshakes begin to lose their meaning. Scripture repeatedly points toward faithfulness because healthy relationships, families, and economies all depend upon it. Like driftwood carried by unseen currents, we don't choose the culture we're born into, but we can choose whether we become trustworthy ourselves. What invisible current makes trust so valuable and so fragile? Every mentor eventually faces the same question. Can I trust the next generation with responsibility? Trust isn't built through promises. It's built through consistent choices made when nobody is watching. Businesses, governments, and families all face the same challenge. Incentives reveal character far more clearly than speeches ever will. The Bible often connects wisdom with faithfulness because both require patience rather than immediate reward. Trust grows slowly, but can disappear in a single decision. The current isn't asking whether people are perfect. It's asking whether they are dependable. Before every crisis, there is confidence. Markets feel secure. Careers seem permanent. Relationships appear unshakable. Yet confidence isn't always built on truth. Sometimes it's built on assumptions that nobody has questioned. Throughout history, financial bubbles have all shared one thing in common. People stopped asking difficult questions because everything appeared to be working. Driftwood teaches a different lesson. Calm rivers can still hide dangerous currents beneath the surface. Real trust isn't blind confidence. It's confidence tested against reality. The most important conversations rarely happen in public. Decisions are shaped quietly, long before announcements are ever made. Whether in business, government, or family, incentives often determine outcomes before anyone realizes it. Instead of asking what people say, ask what rewards they're pursuing. That single question explains far more than headlines ever will. Scripture often urges discernment because appearances alone can deceive. The invisible current isn't always visible, but its effects eventually reach everyone downstream. From a distance, every decision looks personal. Up close, incentives tell a different story. Companies maximize profit. Politicians maximize votes. Investors maximize returns. None of that automatically makes people evil. It simply reminds us that systems shape behavior. Understanding incentives allows us to prepare instead of merely reacting. Driftwood doesn't control the river, it learns how the river flows. When you understand incentives, you begin understanding the current. Progress often begins with a simple question. Why? Why is this system designed this way? Why are people rewarded for certain behaviors? Why does anyone assume this is normal? Independent thinking has always been uncomfortable because it challenges accepted narratives. Yet wisdom rarely comes from following the crowd. It comes from patiently examining reality. Faith itself repeatedly invites people to examine, test, and discern rather than accept blindly. Sometimes the strongest trust begins by questioning what everyone else assumes. Eventually, truth collides with comfort. Every organization reaches a moment when difficult questions can no longer be ignored. Some protect the truth, others protect the system. Incentives become visible under pressure. Character becomes visible under pressure. Trust becomes visible under pressure. History repeatedly shows that institutions survive only when integrity matters more than appearances. Driftwood isn't strengthened during calm waters. It's shaped during the collision with the rocks. Trust rarely collapses all at once. It weakens one compromise at a time. A small lie, a hidden motive, a broken promise. Eventually, people stop believing what once seemed unquestionable. The same pattern appears in marriages, businesses, governments, and financial systems. Confidence disappears because trust was quietly consumed long before the crisis became visible. The invisible current wasn't the collapse itself. It was every unnoticed decision that slowly led there. Every system has a breaking point. Sometimes it's a person. Sometimes it's a business. Sometimes it's an entire economy. When pressure exceeds what truth can support, collapse follows. Yet breaking points also reveal reality. They expose foundations that were never as strong as they appeared. Driftwood reminds us that surviving the storm isn't about avoiding pressure, it's about being shaped to endure it. The question isn't whether storms will come. The question is what your trust has been built upon. Trust isn't merely a feeling, it's an investment made every day through honesty, consistency, and wise judgment. The world constantly rewards appearances, but lasting freedom has always depended on character. Like driftwood carried through changing rivers, we cannot choose every current, but we can become the kind of people who remain trustworthy no matter where the river flows. Thank you for watching. Until next time, keep understanding the current